Go ahead and finish. Be kind of like a little dinner theater tonight. Go ahead and nibble on your peanuts. Just don't throw any. Definitely don't throw them on the floor. I know there are restaurants here that out of the country that do that. At this time, let's go ahead and just take just a moment. I think we need to share some prayer blessings. Some good things the Lord is doing in your life that you would bless Him for tonight. How about the meal that you shared? Is that great? You know, it's every day of my life, and I'm so thankful that the Lord could love a sinner like me. And I'm just amazed at what God, the Lord does to look after me, and in spite of the fact that I don't deserve it. That's very simply the grace of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. As I think about Christians in all parts of the planet, all parts of the globe, my heart lifts up those that, particularly right now, that are in these areas of the world that are in such unrest. We have enough in the United States to see what's going on. Lift up believers there. We lost 4 people from the United States just the other day. An ambassador. We have missionaries have gone on to heaven because their lives were, as they say, given, not taken. They have gone where they go and living where they are, knowing that at any moment their life could be snuffed out. And I praise God for those who are going lost. Really makes me thankful for what God has given us. Anybody else have a blessing that you would share with us tonight?
My family's all here.
Family's all here. Hey, gang.
I have a question. What is a Coptic Christian? You mentioned those that were killed, and that's related to that film that somebody has made.
Coptic Christian is what I remember, and I have not researched it. Goodness, in quite a few years. Are they not the Christians that were the Orthodox Christians whose head of their church was at one time in Constantinople? It was a rival to, not a rival, but it was a church that was supposedly universal alongside the Catholic Church, but eventually ceased to be. The Catholic Church was in Rome, and Constantinople had the Orthodox. And from what I understand, that's that line. Joy, are you familiar with the word Coptic Christian? Okay. We need to find that out so we'll have a clear answer. And I appreciate you asking that, so we'll find out for sure. I want to see if that's that straight line of division from the Orthodox Christian sect. Anybody else? Ms. Joyce, I'd like to see you tonight. Would you like to lead us in Amazing Grace?
I'm not a big singer, but I know I can sing a little.
All right, let's do it. Come on. Well, I am excited to hear that. Come on up here. Ready?
Yeah.
Go for it. Start us.
You go first.
No, I think but they know better than that. Go ahead and start us, would you? Miss Lady will kick in and help us. Ready?
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
God's people said, amen. Good job. Thank you so much. Good job. Anybody else have a blessing? Well, let's bow together before Joy comes and shares with us what God's put on our heart tonight. Precious Father, it's great to bow and pray and thank you for food and fellowship. Father, the spiritual food of which we partake is the most important. We cannot live without it. We don't live by bread alone, but by every word of God. Father, as Joy shares with us tonight what you're doing in her country, thank you that you've allowed her to be with us for this time. Just use this time for your glory. Because we love you so much. You deserve all the honor, the glory, and the praise that we can lift up to you. In your precious and your loving name we pray. Amen. All right, listen up, Miss Joy. Please come and share.
You want to start with here? I'll just sit over here. Okay. Good evening. Good evening. It's such been a wonderful privilege for me to be back here in Pavo after 4 years. And this is such a special time to share what the Lord has been doing in my life. Most of you, I guess, have known me the first time that I was here. But for the benefit of those who do not know me yet, I can introduce to you myself, how the Presleys become my family. In 1984, after graduation in high school, I always wanted to become a nurse. But during the summer, during the camp, I just heard the voice of God calling me to be prepared for the best time. When I'm in the family, I grew up in a very poor family. I'm sorry if I get emotional. But you know, I was raised in the Sunday school. Despite the fact that my mother had barely nothing, she tried her best to bring us into the church. And if there's a thing that my mother would have given us as a heritage or as a gift to us, would be raising us in a Christian family. Every Sunday she would say, go to church, and we come to know the Lord. So at the age of 15, when I heard the call of God, I was surprised that when I told her that I want to go to Bible college, she said, there's no way to go there. It's kind of like when you are growing in a Christian family and you thought they're going to support you. But because they knew that my father would always say that being a pastor, you will not survive because of the pastors that they would see in the villages in the Philippines. One of the things that I've learned in the Sunday school is to hear from the Lord, to read the Bible, to meditate. So after the camp, I prayed and I fasted. And there I heard a voice from the Lord through His Word when He says, I would like to say this to the children. I've always been loyal to my parents. I always do what they want to say, what they told us. Because that's what I learned in Sunday school. Honor your father and your mother. But this time, it's kind of like, Lord, where should I go? Do I obey you or obey my parents? So I'm in a crossroad. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard. When the Lord showed me His Word, when He says, he that loveth his father and mother more than me is not worthy of me. And but by the time I realized I need to make God number one in my life. I said, Lord, whatever it takes, I will follow you. I'm gonna follow you. That was 1984. I stepped out by faith. Folks, when you say stepping out by faith, It's not like you're thinking that, yeah, I'm gonna do this and later on the Lord will provide. No, just go what you need to do. And that's what I did. I'm just grateful that I have a pastor who have the passion just as I have. She brought me to this Bible school and said, okay, she's willing to work for her schooling. By the time, the only available job in the school was helping the dietitian. We were living in a campus, Bible school campus. And so I do not have any choice. I was the youngest in the school. But since I'm determined to go to school, and there's no way that I could pay my schooling, I take the job. And it's kind of hard when it would be more easier if I got the job and at the same time, the family support would be there. You know what I mean? But at the time, it's only my mom. My father said no. And he cannot disown me. He said, I'm not gonna ever send you even just a single cent. And he did. During that first semester in Bible college, I saw the hand of God. I've been working, getting up early as 4:30 in the morning, go to the market, help the dietitian. I knew in my heart, when you have God in your heart, you just feel that He guides you in everything you do. It may be hard physically, it may be hard emotionally, but the comfort and the spirit that keeps you, is right inside of you. I was working for like almost 4 months. Of course, second month of that year, missionaries from here in the States came over to our school and conduct what we call it spiritual emphasis, and that includes the Presleys. I don't have the chance to talk with them. But of course, I'm one of the smallest and I'm a part of the singing group, so I used to sit at the front. All I could remember is that my mom Rebecca it's just like we always got eye to eye, just like that. And then with all the students of more than 100, she would speak to everybody. And all I remember, she just come down one time and she said to me, and what's your name? And I said, Joy. And that's all. So they left from the Philippines and came back in the States. Our director from the Bible school came over to the U.S. And, that part was on my mom's part, and that story, the other side of the story is my mom. And I'm gonna go further. You will ask her what had happened to her. When my director came back to the Philippines, of course, when I went to Bible school, one thing that I stood and I told my family, and I told God, I said, Lord, if you really called me, I want to graduate with loyalty awards. You know what I mean? You have to follow all the rules and regulations, and I want to graduate with, with the top in the class. By all means, I want to be on the top. And I really work hard for that, to gain the favor of my Father. When the director came over to the Philippines, the first thing he did, he looked for Joy. And I said, Lord, what have I done wrong? I'm so scared to be called in the office, I never thought I want to be called. That would be the last thing, And the semester is almost over. And I said, Lord, what did I done wrong? And I've been really praying, So I did not went to the office the first day. And then the second day, he cannot called my attention again. And I said, Lord, and then I said, Lord, please reveal to me, what is going on. But I have peace, One afternoon while we were having our rest, I think it was like 1 to 2 in the afternoon, his wife came over to my room and she said to me, Joy, get up, come to my house. The director is calling you. As I was walking up in the house, how I felt, Lord, I've been really praying, and Lord, I don't know what's what to say with the director. And then as I entered their house, he said to me, Joy, come in. And the more I got scared, And so he was smiling, and I was surprised because some of the students would tell me that if you don't go to the office, he really call your attention, even in his room, in their house. So he was holding some materials, and he said, Joy, this is for you. And I said, what? I've never told you, the Presleys have sent some materials for clothes, and I guess there is a watch in there, and there's just, it was not wrapped, it was just, and since it has paper, small paper, and it has my name, Joy. So he said, yeah. Sir, are you sure that's mine? And he said to me, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is yours, and I want you to thank the people that have sent you. And I said, well, I don't know that you remember the Presleys that have come over for the second month of the year. And I said, yeah, but they don't know me that well, And he said, well, let me tell you this. He said, from now on, you're not going to be working. They paid for your school. God is faithful. And I can remember when the word one morning that came to me said, you have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and appointed you. And I was really determined. And I was just, how you feel? It's just like I was really crying out, jumping, praising the Lord, what He has done. I could hardly, say how I felt that moment. But one thing I know, whenever God calls us, He will provide the things we needed. Just make sure that we are in the right place where God called us. This the first ever miracle that had personally happened to me. I was thanking the Lord. I told my family, I said, well, thank you for all your support to me, even though they did not support me. Once in a while, they would send money to me. And because they paid for my school, and it covers all the dormitory fee, the food and everything. Sometimes they send extra money, and I would even share it to my family. My father said, I could not believe, what God have done in your life. But folks, God is good. And He does miracle. I kind of realized, I said, Lord, if I did not step out by faith and go take courage to go to Bible college, where should I am now? I don't know, But God is faithful. I graduated during that year. I want to include this, somebody had paid my schooling. I was doing my very best in school. Everything is going all right. And then all of a sudden, I got so sick. And in the Philippines, if you have this, we call it, it's something like the liver. My liver have infected. And it's just like I went all yellowish, everything. And they could not find a medicine in the area where I live, where the Bible school is. They had to go to Manila, which is 12 hours to travel. But I'm just thankful that God answers prayer. The director of the Bible school said, students, we're not gonna eat today, we're gonna pray and fast. See, we are ministering to the hospital where they brought me in. And the director said it would be so shame. We are coming here to pray for the sick and our student would die, And the doctor said, it's just like they don't even put me in the room. They're just gonna put me in the hallway, wait for me to die. But I thank God that when my co-students have prayed for me, some missionaries, some pastors, really prayed hard for me. The next thing happened was, they were so scared though, because I said, well, I want to get up. And they said, no, you can't get up. And I said, why? Because you're so sick. And I said, well, I'm I'm okay. And they said, no, you call the doctor, you call the doctor. And I said, well, you've been praying that I will be healed. And now I'm healed. You don't believe it, you know. But I was just like, hey, you're crazy. It's just like Peter, you know, when they were praying that he would be released from the prison, and when he went to the door knocking, they won't believe it. Sometimes we Christians, we do that, you know. Well, because the doctors said that it's a terminal illness. So it's really hard for them to believe it. You know what they did? They called my director and said to me, Joy, can you tell the name of this person? And I said, yeah, that's my director. And then they called another person and let me name it. So I said, yeah, I know his name. And then all of a sudden I said, Lord, I thank you, I am here. God is speaking. And you know, during the time that I was really sick, it was the first time that my father kneeled down to the Lord. And you know what he said? Lord, if you called my daughter, as you heal her, I'm not gonna bother her anymore. I'm gonna let her serve you for all her life. And you know, that's the best blessing I've ever had from the Lord. Having my father, my biological father, you know, offer me to God. Of course, the Presley has always been there for me. I thought it's just gonna be the first semester, but all of a sudden I found out they're gonna support me until I graduate in Bible college. You know, it's like you always ask the Lord for your favor, but you don't know where it's coming. God always have His own way. And people could hardly believe. Even if I'm coming here to the States, they would say, you have relatives there? And I would say, yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I have a poster mom and dad. Oh, they're Filipino. No, they're white, you know. They're white. It's just like, hey, you go by yourself. It's like, no, they're white. They're not Filipino. Well, Dad would usually say, you know, he looks like Filipino in a way. So, but it's just like that's how we come to, you know, and that was 1984 since I met them. And in 1990, it was the first time that I come over to the United States. They would say to me, Joy, how would you like to eat hamburger? Because they knew where I live, you know. We don't have hamburger there and everything. But it was such a miracle from the Lord. Obeying Him, doing His will. I held a crossroad right after my graduation because Dad and Mom have asked me, Joy, are you still want to go back to college and take that nursing course? You know, when you, and I kind of look back and I said, did I regret not doing that, you know? Because my youngest son would say to me, Mommy, when I go to college, I'm going to take up nursing and I'm going to take up Bible course. And I said, why? I want to be a nurse and I want to be a preacher. And I said, why is it that preaching is your last, you know? So that I would have enough money and I would be, you know, being a pastor, you don't have to be young to be a pastor, you know. Even in your old age, you can be a preacher, you know. I said, well, I guess you're more smart than me, you know. But because I did not take the challenge to, you know, to take up the course. Well, I really prayed and asked the Lord. It would be a big opportunity for me if I went to take up the course, nursing. But I really prayed and asked the Lord. And then I said, Lord, I knew, and the Lord have shown me visions, and I'm pretty sure that God have called me to be a pastor. I told my dad, I said, Dad, thank you for the offer, but I'm determined to become a servant of God. And this is where God, I'm gonna die, to be a servant of the living God. And I did. Dad wrote me back. Of course, it's always Dad that, you know, makes more letter than Mom. I can tell you that, you know. Dad would do more letters than Mom does. And I have this Dad's letter saying to me, I'm so grateful that my daughter is a preacher. I pioneered the church. I was like, I graduated at the age of 19. It was I was assigned to pioneer a church. You know, when I say pioneer, there's nothing in it. You start by yourself. It's just like, okay, you go to this area and start a ministry here. And at my age, you know, it was not easy. And they don't give you money. You go by yourself, and that's what you learn in Bible college. You learn to fast. You learn to manage your time. And everything. So I went to this area. It was like before you can get to the town, it's like you have to walk half day. You have to walk half day. It's not easy. But for 3 years, I was able, you know, if I cannot go back right now, it's like if I want to ride, I have to wait for this loggers truck that load logs, big logs in it. I would go on the top of the log so that I can get to the town not to walk. I did that for 3 years, and I could hardly imagine now doing it again. My director said, it's very dangerous if those, you know, those wire, those cable would come loose. And I said, yeah, I heard people, you know, died, killed, and those. And I've never thought of it before. But God is so gracious. I was able to build a church and build a pastoral house. And that's when I experienced, you know, one of the things that I've never forgot. I got to a point where I don't have anything to eat. You know, when you're a stranger, I don't have relatives, I don't have families. You're a stranger in a place. You can just go and ask them for food, especially if you are the preacher, you know what I mean? And so I've learned to fast in the school, so I said, Lord, if this is a time for me to pray and fast, let it be. So I'm getting ready really to pray and fast. And it's like in the morning, I did not have a breakfast at lunchtime. If I go home to my mom, it would take me 2 days to travel, you know. So by bus, by tricycle, by boat. So there's no way. But I learned to trust the Lord. Folks, you know what? As I was praying, I heard a voice outside the house. Of course, Mom and Dad went to that place, and I can assure you, when Mom was coming up on the step to go to the house would go like this, you know, it's shaking, it's almost, you know, tore down, you know. But the lady said to me, Preacher, we just harvest our rice, and we want to share something for you. And this was the chairman. I mean, if I say chairman, this is the leader of the community. His wife that comes over to the place where I'm staying. And she's not even a Christian. She's not, but she knows I'm a preacher. And she's not coming up to the church where I'm starting. But she came over, and I realized that, and I said, Lord, thank you, that even people that don't know you, you can use them for your servant. And I thank God for that. After 3 years, God have moved me to another place. It's like kind of more like Pavo, you know. It's like there is easier access to store like that. And God, right now, the first church that I built, they have more than 100 attendees, and it kept growing. What really blesses me, one time somebody have called me and said that it's just like one of the leader that I trained in the church, their son went to seminary. And he was looking for me, and he said, you never know what you have done to that place, you know. And I almost forgot it, because he was not born yet when I was in the church. But his father and mother come to the church when I was there. So I'm just grateful for the resort that God has been doing. I was moved to this another church. It's like more, I would say, an established church. But you know, church, I'm sure that you're not innocent in it. When I say that there are churches that fall apart, you know, and this is the kind of church, it's like they are in trouble and they want me to place there, to organize it, to repair it, you know what I mean? It's just like you have to do something with this church, you know. So that's where they placed me again. And I said to the Lord, Lord, did you call me to be a repairer, you know? You know what I mean? it's just like it's easier to build a church of your own, to start, than to repair, you know. If there are damages, it's not really easy. But I'm just grateful to the Lord that this church come to life and God have really blessed it. And up to now, it's still growing. And I'm so grateful that children that went to the church when I was there, they are all serving the Lord. And they are being used by the Lord. And some way or the another, they are being really used for the advancement of the kingdom of God. And I'm grateful to that. The church I'm pastoring now, of course, this is the church where I'm in already when I come the first time here. We started, it's another, I would say, a church that have lots of trouble, have lots of problem. It's like there are only 10 people left. They brought me in here. The first Sunday that I was in there, when they appoint me and my husband, of course, my husband and I have 4 children. And my youngest was only 1 year old at that time. They're all in preschool. One of the elder, and I hope you do not have an elder like that here. You know what he said? We're not gonna be able to feed you, preacher. If you're gonna come and stay to this church, we're not gonna be able to feed you. It's kind of like shocking, you know. It's just like, hey. But I'm so thankful, and I told the people, my husband is a soft-spoken person, and I'm glad he was not there when that elder was telling me. And when I was telling it to my husband said, you know what? We did not come to pastor this church for them to feed us. It is God who called us. And we're going to pastor this church because our calling is from the Lord. It's not from them. And we are determined. We take the courage. I'm just so grateful, folks. The church it's going to be 15 years that we pastor the church this coming June. When we were starting the church, of course, it's not really easy when you do repairs. It's like you've got to know the people, you've got to learn, everything the church going on. It's not really easy. It's been difficult, but God's grace is sufficient, and He is faithful. I can remember, like, early in the morning, I would go and clean. It's just like, preacher, do it all. What I mean? You do it all by yourself. I have to come in, clean the church, bring in people. It's not easy, You do it all by yourself. And I would be calling Dad Gerald. I would be crying, and Dad would say, Joy. And I'd never ever forget that. They may be miles away, but with the phone, I would be crying out. They are the only. I cannot tell these things to my biological parents. You understand what I mean? It's hard to tell them what I'm going through because they would not understand me. So I would tell Dad Gerald, and he would say to me, Joy, you've got to disciple your people. You've got to delegate the task. You're gonna kill yourself to death. Of course, that's what he used to tell me. And I did what Dad Gerald said. Step by step. And looking back now, my youngest son is 14 years old. He plays the bass in the bass guitar in the church. All of us are involved in the ministry. It's just like after long years of being in the church, and I believe if you want the church to really grow, you have to keep your preacher. Because it's not like, jumping from one to another. It's not easy, I remember when I started the first church, and I have a vision, and all of a sudden they want me to transfer, and you don't know what's the vision that they have there. But in this church where we are now, I'm just so thankful that it's just like the vision that God has put in my heart is going, and it's growing, and it's going on. When I come here the last time, we only have 2 services. One in the morning and one in the afternoon. After I get back, it's just like, of course, I'm grateful that the Lord has been so faithful in providing our needs. It's just like, I heard the preacher say that it's not because you do not have this, you are not blessed. He is right. Because you may have these things in America, but there is an emptiness if you don't do what God wants you to do in your life. The Word of God says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all of these things will be added unto you. And that's what I've learned from the Lord, putting God first. And I teach them to my children. I've been telling Mom Rebecca, and I said to her, it's just like myself is no longer me. It's just like J is for Jesus, O is for others, and the Y is the one that left for me. Just like putting God first. God would be first. And I teach it to my people. And I see great change in the church. It makes me sad, folks. Please don't get me wrong. It makes me sad every time that I come to church. I told Mom I could walk because from my house to the church is, it's more far than Mom's house to this church. And when I get out in the car and look at your church, so pretty, so beautiful, and you come in, it's so cold, it's so nice to sit, and there was no people, it makes me sad. It makes me cry. You know why? Because people in my church would be standing. We give fans, we do like this because it was really hot. And our first service would start at 7. And I was telling Mommy, in my house, there's no breakfast on Sunday. We all gonna pile up. We're gonna be in line in the bathroom because all my children are in the ministry. So we all have to rush into church because it's our policy that 30 minutes before the church starts, all the workers will be in the church. And I'm just so thankful to the Lord that, God is blessing and honor what we are doing. Sunday would be a real long day for us, but we are fulfilled. We are really fulfilled. It makes me it's hard to understand why people, get hooked with material things, with things that they have. I always tell people that I love things, but if you're gonna look at me and they would say, hey, you have a beautiful dress, you have a beautiful dress. I tell you, I don't even remember when was the last time I go to one of those. I would see the food and I feel like, hey, do I really need this? Mom said the other day to me, Joy, how would you like to look for a sandal? And I said, oh my gosh, it's not that I don't like, it's not that I don't need, but it's not, I would always say that there is more important, and that is to spread the word of God. I was telling her that God has been so faithful. I have 4 children. As you all know, my husband 5 years ago went to a bypass surgery. The heart was really doing well, and he was really doing good. But he had this diabetes again that really disturbed him. I was kind of like, and he said, "Oh, is it that every time you go to the States, something like this, like going on in me, 2 weeks after I got my ticket coming down here, he got sick and was really feel bad." And I said, "That, sweetheart, are you still gonna want me to go to the States?" And he said to me, "I know how you miss your mom. I know how much, you wanna see them there. Go ahead. This is just a test on us. We're gonna hold on to God." And I was kinda talking to the children, and they would say, "Mom, don't worry. That is okay now." The faith that, God has been transferring to my children. There are 3 in college, 1 in high school. My twins are one of them is taking up hotel and restaurant management. He wants to come to the U.S. to work. That's all he said to me, "Mommy, I'm gonna take up this course. I'm gonna apply for this cruise ship, and so that I would be able to see grandmother." So he determined to become, And I said, "Gerald, you really pray and ask the Lord whatever He wants to do in your life. Because if it is His will for you to get to see your grandmother, you'll get to see Him, So I'm just so blessed. One of them is now in seminary. It was really hard for me because this is now their 2nd year in seminary. He is so determined to finish his school in that seminary. And he said, I don't know if you understand, but he said to me, of course, our main food in the Philippines is rice. And if there is a green vegetable or whatever it goes with it, Dave was laughing at me when I said, well, we cook some milk fish, we cut it in 6 pieces, put some green vegetables, and sometimes you put it more vegetable as an extender, and he just laughed at me. so that it will take long, extender, And one of my sons said to me, "Mommy, I don't care if I'm just gonna put salt and the rice as my food, as long that I'm gonna go to seminary." This is now his 2nd year. He plays the drums. He handles the youth ministry in our church. And he had a leadership ability, and I'm so thankful to the Lord. I was talking to him the other day, and he said to me, "Mommy, they're going to be having us vacation for 3 weeks this October." And he said, "I'm going to help my aunt. I have a sister. For 9 children, 4 of us have graduated in Bible school. So 3 of us are actively engaged in the ministry. 1 is engaged in our preschool in the church, which is still a ministry for her." So she said, their church needs help, and I'm gonna go down there to help them. I did not tell my son, and he goes like this, "Mommy, could you tell Daddy to give me some money for transportation?" And I said, "Oh no," but I was just like, well, and I go this way, "Son, if it is God that sent you to the church, the Lord will provide for you." And he said, "Oh yeah, Mommy, I understand, And I thank the good Lord that my children learn to give. You know what I mean? Their allowance every week would go like 20 pesos would be like 50 cents. Because for $1 is 40 pesos in the Philippines. So it's kind of 50 cents. That's their allowance. It's gonna be if they have something they want to eat, or whatever they need in the school, they have to pay for it. They've learned to give a tithe to the Lord. It's not their earning, it's not their income, but they still tithe to the Lord. They learn to pledge for the Lord. And you know what makes me so happy? As they give to the Lord, they receive the benefit. It might not be a material thing, but my son have called me and said, Mommy, I have group grades in school. My teacher was so nice to me. Or they would say, Mommy, somebody have paid for my transportation. And for themselves to see that, it's really, really a blessing from the Lord. You know, as I said, after I went back to the Philippines, I have this vision that we have to double the number of the people in the church. God is coming soon. And the mandate that God has given us is to reach out for the lost. It's not to build our mansions. It's not to put money in the bank. It's not like, building our kingdom here on earth, but to reach out and bring people to the Lord. And I said, although our church is small, I told them we're gonna manage it, because they were thinking if we need to have 4 services or 7 services, I don't care. We have got to do it. And I have this challenge. We have this challenge for a year now, and we have a team like going the extra mile to reach out, to give, and to serve. It's just like when we say going the extra mile, it's not the usual thing that we are doing. We go the extra things. You understand what I mean? So in our giving, I encourage the people. And that in reaching out, I told them we have to reach out. And I encourage every people in the church. I said, I don't want members in this church. Are you still there? I don't want members in the church. I want workers. I want workers. God is looking for workers. We are not called to, all of us are not called to be a preacher, but I was so happy what Miss Pat was sharing in the Sunday school this morning. He said they have this women's, a group, and they're gonna be sewing, things that you could do to bring people. So I challenged the people in the church. I said, we're gonna have this 2 souls commitment. For a year, you're gonna commit. I'm not gonna be rushing, I said, because it's not easy to bring people in the church, I tell you. It's easy when you have food. You understand what I mean? You have something going on. But I told them, you have to commit for 2 souls. And if there's a person you want to be with in heaven with, who would be that? I'm sure it would be your own family. I told them, start it with your family. Bring them to the Lord. So we have this 2 souls commitment, meaning everyone in the church has to commit for 2 souls to pray, to visit, to care for, until he got to bring it to the church. And he's gonna take care of that souls until he become a worker in the church. Sometimes we want to invite people in the church and let them sit there, go home, and that's all. Shouldn't we? We should encourage them and bring them to the level that they become a worker for the Lord. Folks, it's not the preacher's job to reach out. It is his duty to disciple you, to train us for the kingdom of God. And I'm so happy and I'm so encouraged of what God is doing. It may be hot in the Philippines, we may not have the comfort that you have here. But we see God's hand working in a special way. I have women in the church, and I've been telling Mom in the morning, and I almost got too used to it, I said. I wake up at 5, go to church, and this is a daily thing. In my church, they gave me my Monday as my day off. But I could do what I want to do. But I still go and pray from 6 to 8. And And people who do not work, who have the time, just come in, and pray at the prayer room. Of course, we have ladies that are regular who do not work, who's not working anymore. And one of them is my mother, who really cried out to God, who prayed for Israel, who prayed for other nations, for those missionaries outside. There was a time that I said to them, the first time I said, well, my mother would say, Lord, bless those people because we have so many accidents in our area. Those that are driving, every people, everywhere. And we see result. We see God's name working. For more than 2 months now, especially in Manila, it's always been flooded. It was really hard to get to church, When you get water up to your knee, it's not easy. That's why I said you are so privileged here. It's just like in our Sunday school lessons, it's just like we should always be craving to the Lord. There's always been excitement in us going to church, reading the Word of God, putting it in our systems. And so I do believe that God will continue to do more great things in this church as long that all of us will do what God wants us to do. You are so privileged here in the States that if you are not gonna awake, and if you're not gonna open your eyes, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. But church, I love you all. But I would really encourage you to take your part. I'm so thankful that, I've always told Mom that I'm praying for this church, that you all get excited for the Lord every Sunday, that you stand up for God. If you have not been doing anything before, put God first and everything will fall in line, will fall into place. And your blessings will come forth. You will see favor. I don't have anything in we live by faith. And if I say we live by faith, we live day by day. But God have never forsaken us. And I thank you folks because some of you have always been faithful in sending support. Mom would tell me, would let me know. Sometimes I would receive a box. Surprisingly, there's rice, there's beans, there's canned food. You just don't know how much it means to us. But I always hold on to God's promises because He is faithful. The last time I was here, there are people that already been gone to heaven, and one of them is my dad. Of course, I knew some of them, and I told Mom, because if they remain faithful to the Lord, we're gonna get to see them again. You are so privileged here. You have a nice place to worship, and I encourage you to bring more people. Bring more people, because Jesus is coming soon. You are so privileged here. But I tell you of one thing. I don't see excitement in you as I see from my church. And that breaks my heart. Because I'm so afraid that you may lose your chance, you may lose your opportunity. And maybe I think I've been using all the time, Mom's telling me. But let me say this, support your preacher. Pray for your preacher and for his family. Well, the preacher did not told me to say that. Others, didn't tell you that. Yeah, but he's God sent him here, and he's anointed by God. When you support your pastor and his family, I tell you, revival comes. I tell you, the blessings of God will flow. And He will not only be the one that will benefit, you and your family, the whole church, and it will flow. Remember, nothing comes down until it will come down from the preacher. So if you're not gonna uphold him in prayer and support him and everything he do, you will fail. But I would say, I feel like saying this, support the preacher and the family, and you will be blessed. I really appreciate all your love, and I'm sure I'm gonna stay longer here. We'll get around to see each other often. I'm privileged that every time I come here, I would say it's like being physically, because Mom would not let me do houseworks and everything, although I really want to because I want to earn money, joke. You know, it's just like, hey, you know, it's just like, you're not preaching, you're not doing anything there, just like, you're just sleeping, that's not good, you know. But it's just so wonderful being in your area, being in the church, and I love you all, church folks, and I keep praying for you all, and I'm gonna see a great revival in Pavo, and I declare favor, because I see the hand of God working on it. Jesus loves us all, and He has destined us for greatness. I hope that maybe if the Lord allow me to come back, it's not gonna just the same people, the same faces, but we're gonna double the number or even triple it, because we know that we did what we need to do for the kingdom of God. God bless you all, and thank you, preacher, for the opportunity.